Cars have been essential in our daily lives over the last century. It's the transportation method most used in the world. In 2015, 263.3 million cars were registered in the US and has been potentially increasing over time. It is true that cars are very useful and indispensable, but unfortunately are also harmful for the environment. So, what is the solution for this? Electric cars.
So what are the benefits of driving an electric car? First of all, it's cheaper to run as you waste per month $30 versus a gas car which you waste $180 per month. Secondly, it's also cheaper to maintain as it's simpler assembled and has less mechanics involved. And third of all, it has positive externalities such that it is better for the environment because it produces less pollution, it's eco-friendly, and uses renewable energy. Also, there are health benefits as the air quality is better and it's not noisy. And it's also safer as there's less risk of explosions or fires.
Okay, so now prices of electric cars are average of $30,000 in 2017, and a normal gasoline car it's about $15,000. So we've seen that the prices of electric cars are becoming more affordable. They're decreasing from around 30,000. And the price of a gasoline car is very constant actually. So supposedly in the year 2040, the prices are going to be equal. So during this period of time, people are going to buy gasoline cars, and after here, electric cars.
Okay, so from 2040, people will be buying more electric cars than gas cars, since it will be more worthwhile. So, if people are buying more electric cars than gasoline cars, the demand for oil will decrease, moving the supply and demand graph. So this would be the new demand curve. And the equilibrium would decrease quantity of oil, also decreasing the price of oil. Now we're going to analyze the effect on how oil prices affects GDP in the US. So the US oil industry last year was valued for $162.1 billion, which represents 0.8% of the total GDP, equivalent to $18,624.5 billion. For this industry, 57% is towards road transportation, and the rest is shown on the graph. The GDP will decrease because of two main reasons. First, as seen in this formula, consumption is a component of GDP, which means that if it decreases as explained before, GDP will follow and also decrease. Taken into account from a short-run perspective.
The second way which we can explain the decrease in GDP is taking into account the Phillips curve. This basically states the inverse relationship there is between unemployment and inflation rates. Additionally, for understanding this explanation, we must take into account that if oil prices go down, this means the overall price level will go down also, and therefore inflation rates will decrease. So now here we have the Phillips curve graph. In the y-axis you can see that there's inflation rate, and in the x-axis we have unemployment rate. So let's say that we are right now in point A with an inflation rate 1 and an unemployment rate 1. As I said before, we are assuming that the inflation rates go down, having now an inflation rate 0.2, which can be also translated into point B in our curve, and also means that the unemployment rate increases. This unemployment rate increase finally verifies that the GDP decreases according to Okun's law. So to conclude, we can say that the growth of the electric car industry will negatively affect the oil industry, leading it to a small crisis, making the country's GDP to fall in the short run. Finally, it is really important to remember that this is all based on theoretical models, which may not always correctly portray what happens in real life.